Greetings gastronauts, this is KeefCooks, I'm Keef, and today I'm going to do an absolute classic of French culinary art. I'm going to make Tarte Tatin, upside down apple tart, ooh yeah. This was requested last August by T-Ring Zooey, which I'm almost certain is not pronounced like that. So, sorry it took so long to get around to it, but it's going to be fantastic. I cannot wait. Now, this tart was invented by two sisters at the Tarte Tatin in the 1880s, would you believe? So, Stéphanie and Caroline, the story goes, invented this by accident. I don't actually believe that story because upside down fruit flans and tarts like this were known about in that region like at least 40 years before the 1880s. So yeah, that's another made-up story about the origins of cooking. Anyway, it's a very fabulous dish, which I have never made before, so it'll be an adventure, oh yeah. If you enjoy this video, give it a like, share, subscribe, etc. And let's get on with it. Tarte Tatin. I'm going to make the pastry first, so I've got 225 grams of plain all-purpose flour, 100 grams of cold unsalted butter, 25 grams of lard. Those need to be cut into very small chunks, and you can use all butter if you don't want to use lard. Half a teaspoon of salt and about a quarter of a cup of water, but really just enough to make it come together into a ball. So just add the salt, cut that up. Actually, if I thought about it, I could have stuck this in the freezer until it was very nearly frozen and then grated it, but I didn't think of it. Okay, mixy. Obviously you can do this by hand, just mix in the bits of fat with your fingertips. You don't want to melt it with the heat of your hands. So off we go. And we'll end up with a mixture that looks like coarse breadcrumbs eventually. There we go. Nice and crummy. So now we'll add the water. Slowly. Okay, that'll do, and there's that much water left. Now just wrap it in plastic film and stick it in the fridge to rest for about an hour. And I suspect I've made too much pastry, but it's always better to make too much than too little, isn't it? Because I'm going to use this little cake tin to make it in. This is 18 centimetres, 7-inch diameter, and it's got a removable bottom, which isn't ideal in this case. Okay, I'm going to deal with the apples. I've got, well, 6. It'll be about 500 grams of apples when I've peeled them and decored them. I still don't have an apple corer. You want to cut them into little half-moon kind of wedges and pop them in a bowl. A squeeze of lemon juice to stop them going brown. Actually, I'm doing half of them with the skin on because I think that might look pretty. These are Granny Smith's apples. Well, actually, they're my apples, but you know, Granny Smith's variety. I don't think you want a specifically cooking apple like a Bramley because I think they turn to mush and you don't really want that. Now we need to cook the apples a little bit, so I've got a heavy bottom pan and 25 grams of butter. We'll just get that melted on low heat and then add the apples and 2 teaspoons of sugar and stir those together and let them cook gently for about 5 minutes until they start to soften. Now we'll take it off the heat and let it cool down. Right, now I'm going to make some caramel sauce. So I've got 200 grams of granulated sugar, I've got 100 ml of water and 100 grams of butter. So I'll just add the sugar to the saucepan and pour the water over it and then whiz over to the stove. And we'll bring the sugar and water mixture to the boil Don't stir it, just shake it. Shaken, not stirred, like James Bond's martinis. And once it's come to the boil, turn the heat down a bit and let it keep on cooking till it turns golden and you can smell the caramelly smell. When the caramel is ready, take it off the heat and put your bits of butter in. I've chopped that chunk into slices and they'll bubble and hiss and sizzle and melt. Let it cool down for 5-10 minutes. I really want to taste that, but I can't just yet because it'll be so hot I'll burn myself. And I'm going to pour some of this into the tin and hope it doesn't leak too much. And arrange the apple half moons in concentric circles. So take your time over doing this, you want it to be beautiful. Then we'll do another ring in the middle, going the other way. Then we put all the remaining pieces of apple at random, because they won't really be seen. And then pour the remaining caramel over it. There's quite a bit of juice left from the apples, but I don't think we want to put that in there because it'll probably make it too runny, too soggy. And now just pop the lid on and press it down inside the edge of the tin. Now this doesn't get glazed or anything, which is a bit unusual, but there you go, what do I know? And you want your oven preheating to 180 degrees Celsius for a fan oven, convection oven. That's 200 for a conventional one, and that is gas 6. But I'm using my air fryer oven, so that's the same temperature as a convection oven. And I'm just going to put this in for 20 minutes initially, and then we'll check it and see if it's done. It should be a nice golden brown when it's done. Okay, time's up. Actually, extra time's up. I gave it an extra 5 minutes, so it's at 25 minutes. And that looks pretty good to me. Now we have to let it cool down for about 5 minutes before we try to get it out of the tin. Oh, actually, I'm going to leave that a lot longer because I think it's, well, I can see if I press the lid down that the sauce, the juice is just very, very liquid, so give it more time to set. Meanwhile, I'm going to make some Chantilly Cream, which is basically half of that, 150 ml of double heavy cream, a sploosh of vanilla extract, and maybe a tablespoon of caster sugar. And we just whip that till it's almost at stiff peaks, and then we add the sugar. Right, that's actually completely cool. I didn't plan that, but something came up. So, right, plate, upside down, flip it over. Lots of leaky caramel there. And, oh, yeah, baby. Doesn't that look good? Right, let's cut the thing open. Well, it's a bit of a mess. I would have liked it to be more set, but pretty sure it'd be delicious. It is fantastic. And I've forgotten something. Yeah, you knew. The Chantilly Cream. Absolutely amazing. It's a bit fiddly, a bit scary, but worth having a go, I think. So, thanks for watching, and see you next time.